Otherwise, as Isaiah the prophet wrote in Isaiah 59, no one will call for justice. No one will plead for truth. We will trust in empty words. We will speak lies. We will look for light and only find darkness, for truth is fallen in the street. I couldn't help but think of that last phrase in light of what we're currently experiencing. Truth has fallen in the street. Happened just last week when an undercover journalist caught a veteran CNN producer, John Bonifield, talking about the Russian investigation that has been the obsession of the press in recent weeks. When asked about the near constant media coverage on his network regarding Russia, the producer said, "I haven't seen any good enough evidence. I think the president's probably right to say you are witch hunting me." Then the producer admitted that CNN was more interested in ratings than the news. He said unguardedly, "All the nice, cutesy little ethics that they used to talk about back in journalism school, that's adorable. But this is a business." And he gave a specific example recently conveyed to him by his boss at CNN. He said that after the United States pulled out of the Paris Climate Accord, CNN's CEO was having a senior meeting and said, "Good job, everybody, covering the climate thing, but we're done with that. Let's get back to Russia." When asked why they keep covering it, Bonifield said, "Because of ratings. Our ratings are incredible right now." The next day, the same journalist released a second video. It was of another CNN commentator, Van Jones. Jones is on CNN nearly every night speculating about Russia, but on a street corner in Los Angeles again, not knowing he was being recorded, he said, "This Russia thing is just a big nothing burger." Yet, you heard it, they keep talking about it, not because there's any truth or lack of truth. It has nothing to do with that. It's all about ratings and it's all about money. This is just one of thousands of examples where freedom is used to undermine our democracy. And if we don't begin to remember America the way it should be, and if we don't teach our children to do the same thing, because they won't be taught that in the secular schools, one day we will lose America as we have come to love it. Let me remind you of a different time, quite surprising. It was of Abraham Lincoln that the New York Times wrote in 1861, "The administration thus far has not met expectation. The country feels no more assurance as to the future. Our government has done absolutely nothing toward carrying the country through this tremendous crisis, which is so rapidly and so steadily settling down upon us." When the New York Times wrote this about Lincoln, he had been president for 1 month. Later, the London Times wrote Lincoln's Gettysburg Address was ludicrous. The Chicago Times wrote, "The cheek of every American must tingle with shame as he reads the silly, flat, and dishwashery utterances of the man who has to be pointed out to intelligent foreigners as the President of the United States." And by the way, none of New York's 3 main papers, the Times, Herald, or Tribune, even commented at all on the Gettysburg Address. Despite all of that, here we are today, all because someone somehow found our way back home from a lost and dark place. Our values are still here waiting for us. But let me say it again, if we don't know our history, we will lose our future. We do not want our children or our grandchildren sitting by the Washington Monument or the Lincoln Memorial or the White House remembering what America used to be. It's our responsibility to teach our children to remember America. You can no longer count on any of the schools to do that. We cannot rely on our schools and especially not on our universities. It has to begin with us. Finally, we not only need to remember America for our own good, we need to remember America for the good of the world like never before. Because you see, the truth is our world would be unrecognizable if it were not for the greatness and goodness of the United States of America. We are still the nation everybody wants to come to. And as I've said more than once, we have discovered that the worst day in America is better than the best day in most of the rest of the world. Robert Whiting knew firsthand of America's contribution to the world. He helped save it in World War II. In fact, that's what brought him back to France when he was 83 years of age. When he arrived, the immigration officer asked him, as he struggled to find his passport after a long flight from the United States, he said, "You have been to France before, Monsieur?" Whiting said, "Yes, sir, I've been here before." "Then you should know enough to have your passport ready," he barked. The American said, "Well, the last time I was here, I didn't have to show it." "Impossible," said the Frenchman. "Americans always have to show their passports upon arrival in France." That's when Robert Whiting quietly explained, "Well, when I came ashore at Omaha Beach on D-Day in 1944 to help liberate your country, I couldn't find a single Frenchman to show a passport to." This is the July 4th celebration. This is the celebration of our freedom. We are Americans. I think I speak for all of us here today. We wouldn't be here if we're not proud to be Americans. Don't let anybody back you in the corner on that one. It's time for us to stand up for who we are, and let's celebrate our freedom today with everything we have in us. God bless you all.